Happy Connectathon Eve to everybody. I think it's really marvelous that we get to have a new member Q&A the night before Connectathon. And my name is Betsy Ko. I've been doing these Zooms for a year and a half. Time flies. And Steve Greenwood below me has been doing them with me just as long. He appeared at the first one, and we teamed up right after that, and it's been a great partnership. Murray came along about a year ago, right, Murray, that you've been participating?
Muted.
Yes.
There, now I'm unmuted. Yes, something like that, about a year ago.
Yeah. So, and Murray knows a great deal about DNA, more I would say more than I do. And also as a technical writer, he's done a lot of the explanation writing for some of our wonderful browser extensions and apps on WikiTree. So,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, of course.
How long has it been since we started this? I've lost
Well,
track now.
it was like September of 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay, so over a year.
Yeah,
Like
a
a year
year
and
and
a
a
half
half.
now.
Year and a half.
Wow, has it been that long already?
So
Okay.
if you're joining us, if you just stumble across this video and you wonder what it's all about, we do these sessions twice a month. And the idea is to just take questions from people on things that they're wondering with navigating WikiTree. And ideally, the WikiTreeers bringing the questions would let us get into it and screen share the profile and give some answers that way. And I think it's really powerful to be able to see something be worked through in practicality instead of just a lot of words to explain it. So that said, does anyone have a profile or questions where we could look at your things, your branches?
You can look at mine.
Okay. All right, Karen, should I go to your profile? Or
You probably, I mean, I don't know. Yes,
yeah.
I can't find my mouse here on my thing. Do you have my number
No,
so you
tell
can?
me your profile number.
It's Harris,
Hmm.
and I think it's 123-13251.
13251. Okay.
I think.
So let me screen share.
Karen Harris Wall. Yep.
Yep.
That's me.
All right.
And go up my mother's line. That's the one that, I mean, I haven't done very much on my dad's line.
Okay. So WikiTree. And Harris 13251. Okay.
Hey, your cousins.
I'm trying really hard to memorize that number.
Yeah, I really feel like I lucked out. I have a nice two-digit one.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
But you guys are actually related. You see that?
Yes. So this box that you see for when I pull up Karen's profile says that we are 15th cousins once removed, and it tells our most recent common ancestor. And this is a function of the WikiTree browser extension. And it's a good reason to get it. Among many reasons. So you want to look at your mother's line, yeah?
You have to go up my mother's line. That's the one that I've done some work on.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go to your mother and then go to her ancestors just so that we can get an extra level here. Okay. I like her maiden name, Honeycutt. That's a cool name.
So I've not really done anything on the Honeycutt line. I'm kind of chasing the up the Stevenson line, trying to document some stuff. So Any of the rest of them probably don't have much of an improved profile.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
So I'm not sure what you want to look at.
right. I mean,
Go back up again.
is there, so there's nothing that springs to mind where should we look at something farther back
Look
or?
at the father of the mother again. Let's look at the paternal grandfather. So just scroll up.
Scroll, yeah.
So- okay, so Sarah Barron doesn't have parents. That's a good starting point, right?
Okay.
So if we go to Sarah,
I know it seems a common name, but Barron, not as unique. Maybe, is there any information on the biography about parentage?
Probably not. It's just the JetCom import.
It's a JEDCOM. Okay.
and so this other profile manager, Karen, was the profile in place when you?
That's my sister.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Same last name. Hayden. Okay, well, this is a great opportunity to, clean up a JEDCOM.
Mhm.
Do those actually link to legitimate sources at the bottom, or are they just JEDCOM junk sources?
They were JetCom. It was census
Okay.
records that I had in my ancestry tree. And so
Uh-huh.
if anything has been verified, then it would be verified by somebody else.
I wonder if we
I
could
have
do
not
it.
I have not gone into this at all since I loaded the JetCom.
I wonder
Mhm.
if we could do like a EGC cleanup on
Yeah.
this profile
Ex-
first.
Except I will say that
Uh-huh.
I did, after I learned how to use the extension for the JetCom cleanup, I did go through several of the profiles and hit that button.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I did that here or not.
Because
Well,
I'm saying that this could lead us in the direction of creating parents for her, and then you'd have some more stuff to launch off from for Connectathon.
Sure.
I
Does
mean,
that sound like an idea?
yeah. I mean, there are two
Um,
ways we could go with this. Let me just show that when I go into edit mode for the profile, and because I have the browser extension, you can see over here that we have these two boxes. That
Why are
look,
there two?
yeah, Murray, do you know why?
Sorry, let me come back. What are you looking at?
We
There
went
are
into edit
two.
mode and we were wondering why there are two AGC boxes.
You may have two versions of the browser extension running. You may have both the preview version and the standard version. I'm not 100% sure, but that may be the reason.
They're both running their scripts at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Does that bog down the computer if both scripts are running then?
I don't know.
Huh.
okay, interesting.
Anyway,
Well,
one of them should work.
I'll get into that on my own time, but this is where you would click to clean up a JEDCOM.
Mhm.
And the reason, I'm just gonna go back without saving. The reason the JEDCOM is problematic is, well, first of all, you could probably present the information that's here in a more sort of efficient and an efficient way that also has an interesting narrative. But when we go down to these sources, you could get all excited that there's a hyperlink there, but it doesn't take you anywhere. So like, for instance, if I click on this, it actually takes me in a big circle. It takes me right back to Sarah's profile.
Yeah, and that's not helpful because where's the
Right.
source? We can't see the document, we can't see the citation. The data seems to be there for these sources, but what does it link to?
Well, but fortunately, I mean, you can also tell from this that she can be found in the 1880 census, the 1900
Right,
census.
right. At least there's that.
I'm looking at this, though, it looks like things are listed more than
Duplicate.
once.
Yeah, 1880 can get clustered together.
Yeah.
1900. So there's actually only two censuses here that are being cited like 4 times.
Right.
So if we do the GEDCOM cleanup, it's going to automatically combine those into one single source. You'll have 4 under one citation and 4 under another citation. And then, that might make it beneficial to look for more sources then, because you know that these are all duplicates.
Can I just point out that I dropped a family search person link into the chat.
Yep.
And what I found is that there are marriage records, census records, and death records.
Ooh,
Log
good.
in.
There are no birth
Okay.
records,
All right.
no information about parents at all.
Oof.
So this is for Sarah.
Yeah.
And let's see, does everything
Good.
match up?
Okay.
49 to 1903.
So,
That's right. Pollock, Magnolia, buried in Clear Creek Cemetery.
That Clear Creek Cemetery is probably right.
But I
Pike,
have
Mississippi
parents.
looks right.
I have Henry Moore Barron and Melinda Felder as parents.
Yes, that's
do you?
correct.
Okay,
Melinda
sorry, I
Felder's
didn't see
correct. Mhm.
mhm.
But there's no source for it.
Steve, do you want to take over just for 1 minute?
Oh,
And-
yeah. You want me
Yeah,
to screen share?
Yep, go ahead. And I'm going to look something up for folks.
I'll kick you out.
There you go.
You can see mine?
It's
Yes.
coming. Yep.
Okay. So, this is what Family Search has. It has sources for birth. It has no sources for death, no source technically for burial, but there's probably a find a link associated with it. And yeah, at the bottom, someone has Henry Moore Barron as father and Melinda Felder as mother, and then, a marriage record for them.
Yep.
But maybe it's not connected directly to this. I mean, their research help only has the missing child thing. So there might be another source out there that just hasn't been connected to Sarah H. Barron yet. And I guess that's the other thing too, is that I'm looking at Sarah H. Move this out of the way.
So I have in my ancestry tree, I have William H. Barron and Melinda Felder, but I don't know that I've got any references, any sources, excuse me.
Right. And so it may not be on Family Search. You may have to find it in some other place.
Mhm.
And again, that's the fun part about building these up, is that they're not all going to come from one location. You may have to scour for a physical document somewhere else, or
Mhm.
someone may have to go down to Louisiana or Mississippi.
Good one, Murray.
Would you put in the chat, Murray? Oh, you found the Find a Grave. Or that's
Oh,
Steve.
I didn't find one.
Stephen posted a link to the Find a Grave. Let's just open that up here really quick.
They're probably your parents.
Yeah, that's Sarah Barron Honeycutt with the H. Wait, is that an H in the? Or it's an N? Oh, did they transcribe it differently as an N?
Yeah.
As in Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay, so the stone's not correct.
Barron.
Right. So I'm wondering, because the H and the N are similar to each other in structure, if maybe her middle initial actually is N, since we only have H as the middle initial here.
Could be.
And someone may have just seen it as a H. So it could actually be Sarah N. Barron. And then with that search, we can actually find more data.
And it turns out she's listed as Sarah N. Barron on the 1860 census.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that alternate name is showing up here too. Anastasia. So yeah, we're learning new things, right?
Yeah.
And even though Find a Grave is not a source per se, except for maybe the burial location, that was a clue just based off the stone itself to allow us to find this information a little bit better. We just close out of this. But yeah, I mean, they don't have any attachment to family on here. They only have the location. Is it okay if I add this to her profile?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to go down to the bottom. So usually at the bottom of the Find a Grave is their citation. I'm going to copy and paste that because I prefer the way that they cite these. I'm going to go back to, I have to keep moving this down because the other tab isn't top of my tabs here. Go back to our find a grave, sorry, back to our WikiTree. I'm going to open that up. Now, is it okay if I also clean this up,
You
the AGC?
absolutely, you
Okay.
are free to do whatever it is.
I'm going to fix this really quick. One small thing that I do is I get rid of anything that's USA, and I'm going to have it say United States because it's
Okay.
already got Pike as the county anyway. So this is going to be better for searching.
Sure.
So now it's in a place name that is readable by the system. Okay. So what we had before, let's just preview it really quick and see what it looks like. So these are probably going to consolidate a little bit. This auto-generated thing might go away. All of this stuff is probably going to go away, or it's going to get reconsolidated into some other paragraph. And then these, we'll see what happens with these. Okay, so we're going to do it. And now it turns it into text. Let's preview it now. And it comes up with an area called research notes and issues to be checked. So it sort of creates a small bio using the data that links to that information. It actually breaks down the couple's children, so that's kind of cool. And then says burial fact had no date, changes date to be after death date, no source of S41, so that's something that's GEDCOM junk. Current last name was changed from Barron to Honeycutt because of the last husband Honeycutt, so that wasn't established in the name field. And then it consolidated the 1880 census, the marriage record. That's weird. Oh, that's the 1900 census there. Hold on, I'm gonna let somebody in. So we may need to adjust this marriage and 1900 census because technically it's citing the marriage for the 1900 census. I'm not sure what's happening there. And then it does keep the acknowledgments. It says the profile was created for the import of this GED file in 2014 by you, Karen. So we're going to keep that in there because this is the source of the original profile.
Okay.
Let me go into the text itself for, let's see if it talks about the burial location. Why does it say cemetery with an A? Okay, we're going to pick cemetery with an E. I'm going to put in my ref note.
I probably spelled it that way.
Is that how it's spelled on Find a Grave?
I don't know. Cemetery. No, I'm talking about cemetery. I probably spelled it.
Right. I thought cemetery was CEMETERY. Like there's three E's.
I think it is too, but
Okay. It's a common typo for cemetery, so you don't have to feel bad about it. So I usually put in Find a Grave as my ref name just to identify that that's where I'm getting the data. I usually do an extra thing where I put in burial. Sometimes this is automatically formatted when you use the WikiTree sourcer, but I'm just weird. Then I copy and paste it. So I'm going to take those extra spaces out because Find a Grave likes to add an extra space in the beginning and at the end.
Okay, before you go anywhere, I have a question.
Sure.
So you've done a reference name at the beginning of your citation, of your inline citation, and isn't that the way you would do it if you are going to use it again over and over?
Yeah, repeating.
Yeah.
A repeating citation?
I just default to that. I mean, some people just put in like ref and then start burial, Find a Grave, etc., and close it out. But if you want to use it again, you should identify it with a name, and then that name would get reused. And then if you start it on another one, basically then the next time you do it, you would have like a little / in the back, and then close it with, the greater than sign. And that would be all you need to create the second inline citation for the same one. But we're not going to do it here.
So you just default to that just in case you decide you're going to come back and use it again?
Well, yeah, because I can get really lost in the references. If I put a whole bunch of references into something and I don't know which one applies to what, then yeah, I usually default with ref name. Just it might be redundant in certain cases, but for me, it helps me keep track of what I'm working on.
No, I'm good with that. I just I'm learning.
Yeah, so when we reload it again, you can see that there's a new citation for Find a Grave now that's in line. And it says, Clear Creek Cemetery near Pollock, Louisiana. And then at the bottom, it now has the burial in the same formatting as the ones that automatically were generated by the AGC. So the AGC bolded them and did a colon, and I did the same thing. I think I bolded the colon, but that's a small detail. But now you can see there's a link to the Find a Grave. So if anybody wants to verify that, they can then go to the Find a Grave link. And if they decide to work on it over there and attach it to people, then they can do it over there. But the important thing is that we have the actual image available on that Find a Grave page. And that's going to confirm, I think, the N. So should I change the middle initial from H to N now? Is that a thing that needs to be addressed?
I'm gonna say since we have the picture of the headstone,
Yeah.
I would say yes, change it.
Okay.
I'm
going to
But
change
then
it.
would you
Mhm.
leave it as, Sarah, I think Sarah is certain, but
Here's
would
what
you
I'm
say
going
the
to
middle
do.
initial?
Within research notes, I'm going to say that certain sources may have this as H, but the headstone has it as N, and
Okay.
that's why we changed it as N.
Okay,
So kind of keeping a trail of breadcrumbs, if you will.
okay, I like
in our
that.
way. So the middle, I can't spell. So for H to N, due to its appearance on the gravestone. Okay, and I'm going to go back up to here. And that makes perfect sense, right? I mean, the H and the N look very
I
alike.
think
in
so.
certain
I
texts.
think it was, at some point it was transcribed wrong.
Do we
I
have
would
any?
think.
Do we have any examples where where the H is present? Because I think the only examples we have are the N.
I think you'd have
Right.
to go look at the,
It's N in the census and it's N on the gravestone.
I don't, it was in which census were you looking at?
I think if I remember right, it was the 1860.
All right, hold on. I've got the 1900 in front
Oh.
of me. Let me see what it shows.
I don't see the 1860 as an option here. Oh wait, there 1880 is showing up, 1900, but 1862.
Whichever one,
Yeah,
whichever one
well-
you have the source for.
Oh, what is this? Came to
Middle
Louisiana
initial.
appearance in 1962.
So in the 1900 census,
obviously a
it
typo.
has, in the
Oops.
1900 census, it doesn't have an initial. It just has the first name and the last name. Well,
Okay,
the first name.
here's a thought. Okay, this is something that probably came before this. It's definitely not 1962. It'd be okay to change this to 1862, right?
Yes, yes.
But we don't have a source for it. And I don't even think that's actually a template. I would love for there to be a source template for individual things on
Citation
WikiTree.
needed.
Do we have?
Yes, citation needed.
Oh,
It's a template.
citation needed. Okay,
Mhm.
that's how it is.
It's the 2 words.
Is it spaced?
There you go.
Okay, it has to have the space. I'm used to doing it on other wikis.
Explain that.
So
Um,
What you just did.
Go ahead, Murray.
If you put this in your document, then well, show it to her.
Yeah,
Do the
I'm
preview.
gonna reload it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Go to the bottom. So preview, and now under that we'll create a citation needed, which actually links to help sources. So
Okay.
this will know that this particular piece of information has no source, but we want to still retain it in the biography if possible,
Mhm.
just because it did exist somewhere. And I never like to remove information
Sure.
unless it's completely wrong and we disprove it to be wrong, right? But we still want to explain in research notes why it's wrong, or it's going to continue to come back up later. So yeah, citation needed, very straightforward. You just do the double brackets, the curly brackets, not the straight brackets like these brackets.
And what did you call that?
This
Source,
is a template.
a template?
Yeah, so the template is created by the curly brackets that go to the right and the curly brackets go back to the left. And then you have to have citation space needed within that for it to register. And I don't know if it's case sensitive, but I'm doing it in lowercase, so it should be working with lowercase. This also doesn't really have a source of it here at the 1862. So is there a state census in Louisiana in 1862? Is that why we're getting this data point?
I have no idea. No, I inherited the research. The research was done by somebody else. And I
Okay.
inherited the research with no sources.
Okay. Well, I'm
There
going to do
is
the
a
same.
1850 census and 1860 census.
Why 1862 though?
Then we've got records in 1968, 1880, 1900, 27, 42, 58.
Uh,
Looks like Stephen has found something on my heritage.
let's tell me the other Stephen.
Stephen Tomatowicz.
Okay. I'm thinking all of this is associated with that record. I don't know why it still points to 1900 as the marriage, but it's saying that the marriage is cited under the 1900 with the 10 children, so maybe they all appeared in
That's
that record.
because of a census record in 1900, where the fact is stated.
She's listed as a wife.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Right, but the marriage itself, do we have a source for the marriage itself?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, so I think I might still want to separate that, because if this is a thought that, you know, when Sarah was 19, she married, and then they have an exact date, that usually implies that there is a marriage record with that exact date, right?
Yeah,
Go
in the
ahead.
1900 census, it says they've been married for 32 years.
But where did they come up with October 29th? That has to be a marriage record, right? I mean,
I
32
don't
years
know.
is a good clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There was a note somewhere that said it was in the family Bible.
Right down here.
Right. I see the Family Bible has, okay, marriage
Yes, there's
on,
a 68. There's a 1868 record for Sarah N. Barron. Oh, there's the N. Sarah N. Barron in the entry for W.C. Honeycutt and Louisiana marriages.
okay. You know, maybe if you have the sources in front of you, Murray, I'll save it. And if you want to come back in to update on your end, you know, then I'll let you do that. Uh, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and save, because I think we addressed most of
Yeah.
those things that we were talking about. Oh, I'm also going to just clean this up really quick here. Okay.
And
I mean, doesn't that look a little bit better, right?
does, yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, you can show if you scroll up, Stephen, I mean, it's a matter of personal preference. Well, actually, go ahead and save it, because I guess we can't be in edit mode to look at this.
Right. I'm going to get out of this save mode to go into actual edit mode now. So reformatted. And then I'm just going to do some other things here. Place name, adjustment. Name adjustment. Okay.
So it is a matter of personal preference. We look down at the bio box. Some people like the table of contents, and certainly in a lengthy biography, it's very handy. But you know, you do have that option to hide it if you would like. So
Yeah. So hopefully this will get us started on, you know, completing her profile. And now that we do know who, we have a clue as to who the parents are, we just need to find the source for those parents. This can be built on for Connect-a-thon tomorrow and so forth.
yeah.
So any questions about that at all, Karen?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, it looks, I follow it as you do it, but I don't know how much of that I'll retain.
Well,
How you do it.
there's a video. So when the video comes out, you can
That's right.
watch it again.
I will 2 or 3 times.
Practice makes perfect. All right, so I'll stop sharing my screen.
So
There's a lot of links in the chat here.
Well, so yeah, that was a link for source. I don't have my heritage right now, so I can't look at that. But
Yeah, I can't either. I'm not signed in. I don't pay them money to look at their documents.
Murray, are you frozen?
Betsy, I just wanted to say that through that whole process, Mary Lynn asked if there was something more basic.
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
we do that. That actually was at a fairly advanced level of WikiTree navigation, and I know we have a number of people on the new team, and really no question is too basic. I never want anyone to sit here and think, oh, I shouldn't ask that. So please ask. What are your questions?
Yeah, that was a more advanced correction that we just did. So we can certainly go back to the beginnings for Mary.
So Mary Lynn, talk to us.
I think I have 6 or 7 people on my tree right now. Me, my husband, my
Okay.
2 kids, my mom, my dad, I think my husband's father. So, and I didn't know there was a certain way to put down sources, so I just put down birth certificate, or I think that's what I had for everybody.
Mhm.
So I don't know how to write, and I've looked it up, but it doesn't make sense. And what you just did really didn't. Like,
Okay.
it was over my head. So
Sorry,
just
I don't
like
expect
basic,
anyone to learn HTML.
yeah. So just a basic, like putting, I can put somebody in, but then I don't know what to do after I put them in. And I have no connections yet. I've tried to look up some older ancestors, but I haven't found anybody on the big tree yet. So that's where I am.
Mm-hmm. Can we look at your profile? And
Sure.
what is your ID?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And Rhonda will have an answer for you shortly.
Let me check here.
Are you Stuart?
Yes, Mary Lynn Holman Stewart. I'm just logging
Yeah.
in to see if I can find it.
Okay. All right.
Is that EW or UA?
5963. No, 59673.
Okay, got it. So let me go ahead and screen share again. So, we all were where you are. Right?
Okay.
All of us. Is it with ERT or ART?
STEWART.
ART, okay. 559,673. Okay,
Yes.
and there you are. So,
If I could just add, the information that I had that was stuff that maybe it wasn't online, like the birth certificate and the marriage certificate and stuff for my close family. I
sure.
created the source. And Mary Lynn, I was told that a source is who, what, when, where, and where. Who it's for, what it is, where you found it, when you found it, or when it occurred, or whatever. And where do you have it? Where is it located now? And I just put in my possession, in the personal possession, and I put my ID in there.
Yeah, that works.
I had several like that, and some of the sources that I've done like that I know aren't right, but it's something rather than nothing.
Yeah.
It's something. Mary Lynn, was it you where we were talking about what I did for my father's, some of his documents, I think, in our
Yes.
email?
Put in your possession or something.
Yeah. So this is my dad's profile, and I have a physical copy of his transcript diploma documentation from high school in Tokyo and Taiwan National University, and I just put what it is, and I mean no one's going to find that online. So copies in possession of me, and I hyperlinked it so that if anyone was really curious, I got to get my hands on this, they could go to my profile and send me a message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with his certificate of naturalization. I
Right.
did give the number and copy
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Very
But
good question.
yeah. Question? No? So for your own profile, it is totally acceptable not to source anything, just firsthand information. It's me, myself, and I. But may we see if we can find maybe a census record for your dad or your
Sure.
mom? Okay.
Sure.
So if we go there, and it's open. So I'm going to run Sorcerer. So let's see, right now you just, you could just say, you could change this to say in possession of, do you have copies?
Yes, I do.
Okay, may I make a change just to show you?
Absolutely. And I didn't put the birth certificate, death certificate. Well, I put birth certificate, death certificate, but I don't think it showed up that way. And somebody else went in and changed it for me. Maybe
Oh,
not, but I don't
okay.
know that I don't know.
Okay, so we can just say birth certificate and death certificate in possession of, and then this is a very useful formula, 2 square brackets, and then your profile, ERT, right?
ART.
Stewart 59673. And now the pipe sign is the vertical line. In on my keyboard, it's sort of in the upper right-hand corner. And then your name, Mary Lynn Holman, is that right?
Right.
Yeah. Close bracket. And what that's going to do, I'll preview it, is if I,
Okay.
yep. So let's see. Okay, so we've done some formatting. Now if we go to Sourcer and see what we can, let's go to Family Search.
Wait, what is that little
Yeah, I
thing
was gonna
up
say
there?
Oh, okay. So this is the Sourcer app, which is an extension to your browser.
Okay, and it's already there.
Well, you have to download it.
Oh.
Yes. Steve or Murray, do you have the
I will
link?
go, I will go get the,
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Murray's gonna
Let
put the
Murray
link
take
in the
over.
chat. And you just find, it's got very good instructions on how
Okay,
to.
yeah, I can probably follow them.
Yeah, and it's free. So so
There
does
you
this
are.
look like, I mean, you know your dad.
Right.
There's
do
your
I-
name right there. It's children.
Yep.
Yep.
There
Okay.
you are.
So that would be good. So there are two really excellent reasons to use Family Search for
Uh-huh.
your records. One, it's free. It's
Uh-huh.
free for you. And then if you provide a link, it's free for anybody else
Right.
to go and look at
Oh,
it.
this is your birth record,
Yeah,
Mary. This is
right.
actually your
Yes.
birth record we're
Yes.
looking
Yes.
at,
Right. So
which
we
is
can
probably personal information that we shouldn't be looking at.
but it does establish the relationship between you and your
Yeah.
dad.
Hmm.
The other thing that's great about Family Search is it gives you the citation. Boom.
Okay.
Copy citation. It's now on my clipboard.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to go back to your father's profile. And for right now, we could you could do inline citations, which would link it to a specific fact, like he had a daughter, Mary Lynn, in whatever year, and then cite the source, but we can also just do this.
Okay.
And sometimes when I'm researching, I'll just do a list of bullet points and I'll go back later.
Okay.
I
That's
will.
good. Yeah, that's good for me right now.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. And so you can see the little asterisk is
okay.
what creates the bullet point.
Okay.
Why is your birth certificate on Family Search already?
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't think I put it on there because I already have one. So
Does Texas law treat birth certificates differently than other states? Because I
don't
don't
It's just
think
an
it
index.
does
anymore.
That's just
I
an
don't know,
index, though.
probably
That's not
state.
a certificate.
But right, but still, like her birth date's available, and a lot of
Right.
things use birth dates for getting into things. So I'm just wondering if this information needs to be protected.
I didn't think Family Search listed anybody who was living
I didn't think so.
What
either.
I thought too.
because
So
I had
Yeah.
at your discretion, Mary,
Yes,
and if you
that's
want
fine.
to remove that, you can, but that's
Okay.
a good example of how to use
Right.
Sourcer, add a source.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to modify that afterwards for privacy, we completely
Yeah.
understand because
Yeah,
it's not visible on your profile. So why should it be visible on an open profile?
Right.
And so I remember now we also had a conversation about privacy levels. And,
Yes.
your father's death was, fairly recent.
Yeah.
So it's totally within your purview to have a little more control. The way you would do that is to click on the privacy tab,
Uh-huh.
and then you can select. Now I can't select because I'm
Right,
not
right,
a profile manager, but you can select, something where it would prevent people from just going in and adding a bunch
That
of.
might be the best option right now, just because of how
Right.
recent. So like the biography would get locked down, but the family tree would still attach.
Okay.
So
I
if you want to cite that information, you can see it, but nobody else can.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
That could
maybe
make sense.
private with public family tree might be the way to go.
Okay, yeah.
Like semi-private.
And
Yeah.
then you just, when you've made your choice, then there's a box for you that would say save privacy levels or privacy changes, and you just click on that.
And then, so the way that you put the biography, or not the biography, but the way that you cited it with the brackets, if I
Yeah.
go into mine, can I see the format that you use?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect.
So,
Great.
and I do that all the time. I'll go back to profiles that I have done before and
Mhm.
say, how did I
Interesting.
do that? And so,
Right. Okay. As long as it's on the edit
yep,
screen.
there it
Okay.
is. And you could even, just like copy and
Yep.
paste.
Got
It's called wiki markup, and you should be able to view wiki markup or HTML tags while you're in edit mode.
Okay.
And changes.
Yeah, and then you can look at all the changes by the
Yep.
changes tab and see what was individually changed.
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully then, in order to start adding, if I am at least citing sources, copy and pasting, put an asterisk, copy and paste.
Mhm.
And then if I have something in my possession, then I have that one phrase or whatever that you used, and I could copy and paste that to get started, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean now
want,
is
I figure if I can do it and repetition, and then I can feel confident with that, and then I can go on to something else.
Right. Well, Mary Lynn, so you're in my group. So
Uh-huh.
just stay in touch with me
Okay.
throughout the weekend and say, hey, could you take a look at this profile? And that's my job this weekend.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
yeah.
I feel
And I
better.
was just going to add, Mary, if you are creating new profiles from these, so like you're creating a parent, it's going to have a screen. It's going to ask you for a source. So I mean, yeah, that's where you can copy and paste the source that you find through Sourcer or Family Search or wherever the information is. And I think it automatically adds the asterisks. So I mean, you might end up like double asterisking if you put one in. But in any case, it's going to have a field to ask for a single source, and it doesn't have to be attached to the data in the biography. So you can drop it, you can create it, and then you can move on and make another profile. Later on, you can come back and clean it up. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
You'll get into a pattern.
Let's see, Mary, you put WikiTree tree sourcer. So if I click on that, I'll be able to figure out how to add that tree sourcer.
You're muted.
I'm muted.
Murray's muted.
Oh.
He always does that.
Right, Kelly. Sorry. Yeah. So that page describes Sourcer and how to get it, how to download it,
Okay.
how to set it up, what some of the options are, etc. And and once you have Sourcer, the world changes. It just spins
Yes.
sideways on its axis.
Yes. You don't have to keep going back and forth. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Especially doing the font. It's gonna go like this. It's unbelievable. It's so
Maybe not quite that fast.
I know,
No,
I know, I know,
It's
but
very,
still.
very, it's very slow when you're first getting started at it.
And that's fine.
One of the great things about Sourcer that's been changed recently is I don't know about the rest of you, but very often I will, build up a tree on Ancestry, and then I'll gradually move 1 or 2 or 3 people over to WikiTree. Okay. So I've got sources all collected there for me on Ancestry on the profile.
Right.
And now I can go to Sorcerance and it can grab all the information about that person
Oh, I saw that.
and all the sources.
I know. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And it writes paragraphs.
I know. Yep.
And so you can do birth, marriage, children, death, burial, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Boom, it's in there.
I
Which
just-
used to take like an hour.
Right.
Yes.
I just did that today. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's so fun.
Isn't it?
I love it.
Well, they do
Okay.
say think smart, not hard, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Use our technology for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you very much for backing up a little bit. I
Oh,
feel
no,
I
absolutely.
feel like I have enough tools that I can participate
Here
and
for
add
it.
to my tree. So thank you.
Good, good. And you know, we'll keep talking throughout the weekend.
Okay.
So we have about 10 minutes left, right? You're going to shoot for an hour. Maybe we should go through some of these questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So Melissa asks, is there a way to get all surnames printed down a branch of a tree, like surnames going back through the maternal grandfather's line? One of the apps does that, right? Or I mean, is it as simple as the descendants chart? All the
Because
surnames.
I saw that Family Tree Maker had that it like along the left hand side, like all the surnames that were in that database. But you know, so found that intriguing, and I thought that would be very cool to have a list of all the surnames involved in a line.
So there is surnames generator that will do all of them, but it'll color code like maternal grandfather's side. So
Ah,
like if you want to identify just the ones on that side, it would create a different color if you play with the color scheme a little bit.
uh-huh.
Maybe we can point her in that direction.
Yeah, it's not, I know that exists. It's not something that I've worked with a lot myself.
I have it on my profile. Should I just go to screen
Yeah,
share really
yeah,
quick?
go ahead and show us.
Okay.
So we make sure that that's what Melissa's talking.
So we've lost Rhonda, have we?
Yeah, Rhonda left earlier. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Just
okay, but-
checking.
Sometimes we bore the crap out of people, and that's fine. So where am I? Okay, I'm gonna just go back to my profile real quick. I have a really big profile, so it might take a second to load because it's running
Okay.
at the same time.
So you go to your profile first?
I have stuff displayed on my profile, so you're gonna see my stuff. We're just gonna scroll.
Okay.
That's not important. That's not important. None of that is important. Look.
Here it is.
This one might
Oh.
be a little out of date, but yeah, this is like the most updated one. So May 12th, I did another version on my grandparents, and I have a lot on my paternal side and not so much on my maternal side. But effectively, the research subpage. Let's see, is there a link? No, I don't want to click on that. Go away. Oh, I know what I have to do. I got to go into edit because that's where the link is to the actual app.
Right.
Because it's one of the
Oh,
older apps.
So
before
it's
it
an
was
app? Okay.
Validated in tree apps. It just
Yeah, it's an app that you run and then it gives you the results and you paste them in.
Okay.
Where's
Thanks for your patience here. Again, I have a very large one. Okay. So this right here, apps, wikitree.com, apps Clark. So as in Greg Clark, and then his identification and everything, and surnames PHP. This is basically what I would do to get to that page, because I don't think it's actually accessible for tree apps. I think it's
Oh.
It's
hiding
under,
somewhere else.
okay, let's see if we can find it.
Let me get out of here. Yeah. Where's 1 second?
Under apps, not under tree apps, but yeah, I found it. So you go under find, and then you go under apps, and then it's right under 6 degrees, surname generator.
Oh,
Okay. So then I just went the long way to find it. But basically, this is surnames generator. It says I'm not logged in, so I need to log in separately because it's through the different API. So you didn't see anything at all. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now my name comes up, or at least my profile ID comes up. And let's just say I want to go back for 10 generations. And I'm going to generate a surnames list off of that. And it's going to start thinking. and it's going to go through all of my ancestors going back 10 generations.
Wow.
And there it created a new compact surname list
Ooh.
back for 10 generations. Now I can also do some cool things here where I can sort it by generation. So like it starts at my generation and goes back 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all really old Germans at this point, all the way back.
That's very
Um,
cool.
But if I go back to surname again, then I can do it by either black and white or 2 colors, which will break it down to paternal versus maternal, or 4 colors, which will break it down to paternal grandfather, paternal grandmother, maternal grandfather, and maternal grandmother.
Whoa.
And again, it looks very similar to the last one because there hasn't been much change in the last year since I last worked on it. But yeah, that can be found through the other link or from the drop down. It's find apps and then surnames generator. Otherwise, this actual link itself, I mean, I could probably just copy and paste this, and then
Well,
you could
can
access it
you
that
just
way.
go to any page on WikiTree? Just go back to Carl Edward Sagan.
Well, let's just Carl Edward Sagan.
Okay.
Okay, so
And so
find.
Find.
It's like missing because I have people over here. Apps. Okay, and then
And
get the chat out of the way. Oh, there's so many things on my screen right now.
Yeah. I see it. Surnames.
Oh yeah,
generator.
there it is. Yeah,
Okay.
surnames generator. Because I clicked on it, it's in pink, which for some reason we're still doing pink for links, and I don't know if that's a Valentine's Day thing or what's going on.
I think it's something you can change on your
It's
browser.
one of 2 options in WBE.
Actually, I'm curious. Let me try something funny here because I was just on Carl's page, right?
Yeah.
Sagan 27. Let's see what Sagan 27's surnames turn out to be. This is a notable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that he has a lot of Eastern European background, and he doesn't have much built out. But we got Sagan, Weitzman, Leisenbaum, Klein, and Gruber. And then we check out where they come from. We can see there's pretty much one for each grandparent in this case. So some are not as well defined as others. But I just thought that would be an interesting thing to do. And that's something I was actually looking at this afternoon, was kind of looking at some of the Russian profiles that he attaches to the Sagans, kind of cutting out the Leisenbaums. There's not much information on these at all. Gruber's from the Austria area, Galicia, Austria. The Kleins, which, I mean, that's a very common German Austrian name, so that could be anywhere. But anybody wants to jump on any of these kinds of profiles, they can connect him in. Because he is connected, but they can make his connections even larger because he only has 74 connections within 7 degrees. If you want to see if you're related to Carl Sagan, through some means, we just need to connect more on his end. I'm also a very big Saganite, I suppose. I'm a very big fan of science and astronomy and everything. And
Me too.
this is a very nice profile that someone has created and put together, including his birth or his burial site in Ithaca, New York, because he was at Cornell University, which is in Ithaca. So that's close to where he was associated.
Cool.
yeah,
Thank you for showing me that.
Yeah, so
no problem.
Melissa, to really get to your original question, you were interested in surnames going back through your maternal grandfather's line.
Well, that was just an example.
Oh,
So,
okay, but
yeah.
what I would do is I would go to his profile, I would get his profile ID, and then I'd run the surname generator
Based on that.
Just like I
Okay.
did with Carl Sagan, it's like it only focused on his. Then you can
Right.
put in the WikiTree ID for your particular grandparent you're looking at.
All right, that's very cool. Thank you.
Yep. Information's power.
Yeah.
Quickly, I guess, if there are any additional questions, how do you wait for a death to put on WikiTree? From Anne, that depends. We're talking about a person who's died in your family recently that you want to add to WikiTree.
Yeah.
How sensitive is the information to your family?
Whoa. It is. It's sensitive for a while. Well, what if it's somebody else, not my family, I know who died, but it's not part of my family?
It depends.
Oh, oh,
If it's a notable, we add them pretty dang quickly
right,
because they're already in the public record.
right. No,
But
I
if
was
it's like
wondering-
your neighbor's grandmother, you might want to hold off on it unless
Right,
they're
oh, yeah,
okay with it.
right. No, no, I was
Karen.
just wondering if there was a law about, death and so
Oh.
forth.
I mean, this comes up on Find a Grave
Muted.
a lot, I believe.
Oh, does it?
Hmm.
I'm sorry?
I'm curious about this too, because the left, I can't, anyway, one side of my brain is saying, well, as soon as there's an obituary published, as soon as there's anything published, the information's in the public domain, so you're free to do that.
True.
On the other hand, on the other side of my brain says, well, wait a second, that's my grandma you're talking about, right? So yeah, so I'm curious what people think about this.
Find a Grave has changed it in the recent, I don't know, months or years. I'm not really sure. Not too long ago, but it's been at least a year, I know. I had a nephew, minor child, who committed suicide.
Oh.
And of course, his obituary was in the paper. And when as soon as they had the funeral and the obituary was done, I went to go post the information because I wanted it to be family that posted it. And it was already there, but not public. It was, and my understanding is that with Find a Grave, if you're not immediate family, it doesn't let it post until, what is it, Stephen, 3?
Like 3 months is like the grace period that they have now built in.
Something
For
so they allow
sensitivity.
family to go in. Yeah, they
Yeah.
allow family to go in and post
If
it.
you are a relative, you can take control of that profile, but they may have a
But-
public record post first. Yeah.
Right. But I have family members that are living. My father was on WikiTree a couple of years before he passed away. And all I did was just go in and enter the death date. I still have his profile as private. I don't have it open public, I don't think.
That's
I mean, you
understandable.
can still leave the profile private if you don't want to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, I don't know that there's like a pat answer that applies,
Case to case basis.
generically. It's very individual.
Okay.
But anybody deceased past 100 years, a little more open. There shouldn't be any holdback on collaboration for those profiles.
Right.
Maybe 50 years ago, maybe 20 years ago is probably where we're starting to say it might be okay. Like a good generation's worth of distance between their death and, again, it depends on the notoriety or the notability of the person. It depends on, who's okay with it. It depends. It just depends. There's a lot of depending.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Melissa has a good question here. I messaged a record owner about a common ancestor because I have some other information to add. I never heard back from them. What can I do? You did exactly the right thing, Melissa, by sending a message. Now you don't have control over whether the person responds or not. But if you just want, is the profile open?
You know what? I didn't check that because I didn't really think of that yet. That's not in my brain yet. So
Yeah.
I need to check that. And because on that side of my family, there's a lot of ancestors for that person. And I have some great information that was provided by an aunt who did a lot of genealogy. And some of it is actually different than what that guy has. And so I did want to contact him, but I never heard back. And you never know if that person has died. They're just not involved anymore. And, I don't know what.
But, you might want to go back to that profile, click on the gentleman's, the profile manager's link and see how recently he's contributed.
Yeah. It looks like it's been a few years, like just like maybe 2 years or something.
And I mean, there is a process for we call them non-responsive profile managers, where you know, made reasonable effort to get in touch, that and no response, then you could eventually be made profile manager of that profile.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you tried-
But there's
Have you
a
tried to
process.
have you messaged him more than once?
No, actually, I only messaged him once.
The only reason I asked that is because I uploaded my JetCom in 2016 and immediately became very overwhelmed. And I just kind of abandoned it for several years, but I always tried to respond to the emails that I got. And it's possible he just missed your email.
Yeah, you can send a private message. You can also put a comment on the profile page of your shared ancestor.
Oh,
Because he
Which-
would also get an email alert about that.
oh, yeah, okay.
Question, are there recent changes available to view? You can see how active the person is.
No, I don't see any recent activity.
When was their last edit that they made or comment or anything?
I don't remember now, but it's like 2 or 3 years. It seemed like it was discouraging to me. I know that when I looked at it, like, I don't know about this person. Like,
Oh,
if
okay,
they're-
so their activity level definitely was not active then.
right.
It wasn't that it wasn't just responding to you. It was like they hadn't been there in a while then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I,
certainly send them another. Go ahead.
yeah, I just put
Okay.
the help page for unresponsive profile managers in the, so you can have a look there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's the chasing the manager angle, Melissa. But there's also chasing the profile. And so what you can
Uh-huh.
do is if you have something that you want to say about this ancestor, you can start by just adding a comment. You can say, I've been doing some research and I've discovered this.
Yeah.
And then after some time passes and still nobody replies, nothing happens, you can go add a research note. And you can say, here are the facts, as if it were right in the biography. Here are the facts, and include your sources.
Okay.
And then some time passes and still nothing. And you're pretty confident now that this research note is actually, reality. And so now you copy that up into the bio, move it out of the research notes, and now that's part of the truth.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So there's always different ways of approaching it. And I think very early in our careers on WikiTree, we're uncertain. Should I do this? Should I not do that? Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
but then you get to it after a while, and I would say that's about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years in,
Right.
you start to feel a little bit more confident, right? You know which things you can do before somebody's going to bark at you, and which things you're not going to get away with if you try to do, like trying to put in a fact when you don't have any sources, you can't get away with that.
Yeah.
But using research notes, now that's pretty legit. And certainly adding a comment, right? That's like, hey, I want everybody to have their say about this.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of my sources, by the way, is this aunt. It was a great aunt, actually, who did a lot of genealogy research, so much, and she wrote a book that is actually in it's in the McKinney Library in Texas.
Okay.
But she didn't really cite sources.
Oh,
So
ouch.
yeah.
But is she contemporaneous with the people that she's talking about?
Well, it goes back
But I
further
think
than her.
And
Yeah.
also
Okay, so-
here terms such
It
as
goes back to
machine
the
learning,
1700s.
deep learning, those sort of things. It all refers to this artificial intelligence.
So anyway, I wondered if I do cite that book, can I cite that book, even though the book doesn't cite any birth records or anything like that. And we do feel like she was a good genealogist and that she tried to be careful and accurate, but since she didn't actually cite sources, we don't have proof of that.
Yeah, sounds like a great source of clues.
Mm-hmm. Source of
Which
clues,
then
right?
now you could maybe chase down the records.
Right.
And
Yeah, I'm
so this all
thinking
kind
of
of,
trying to rewrite that book. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, this also kind of applies into the concept of being bold. Being bold is a Wikipedia concept. You know, if you have the info and you believe it's correct, go ahead and add it, right? In the case of waiting for unresponsive profile manager, you know, that can get in the way of being bold. But again, if the profile is open, you know, it has that unlocked lock at the top that's in white, there is nothing stopping anybody from working on that type of profile. You know, if it's yellow, if it's orange, if something is locked in place, yeah, then we have to go through that process of waiting for someone to approve the info or add you to the trusted list for that profile.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to be bold, and sometimes I'm a little pushy on other people, and they're not comfortable with that, and I might step on some toes. But I guess there's the balance, right? You know, you have some people that are a little
Yeah.
more go-getting, and other people that are more reserved.
Thank you. I'm writing notes.
And then into what you were going to say, Murray? I know you wanted to lead in with something else.
No, actually, that Stephen, you just said something great. So going back in my history, you know, when I was young, my mother whispered in my ear that my father had a native ancestor, and then for the next probably 40 years, I made inquiries about this, and I was met with denials and stories, and you know, nobody knew, and you know, it went on and on. And we had several official genealogists in our family, and they all basically told me, well, there's no documentary proof, and so we cannot say that that's true. And I said, well, what about DNA? And they said, well, we don't know anything about DNA, and we can't be sure that that's, you know. But you know what? I chased that down, and eventually I managed to prove that I had native ancestors. Relying on some cousins to do, you know, have their DNA done, because we had all the connections. Yeah, doing triangulations, and yeah. So there's, you know, there's all kinds of, once you have the clues, then you can start chasing down the facts and getting little bits of things. But I would say that book, you know, certainly you can reference it in the research notes, right? You might not have a fact. Certainly anybody that she was contemporaneous with, you can consider that she had facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her book was called History of the Wilsons in the United States, and it had a date range on it. And so it was kind of official, but but unofficial at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lucky thing to have. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's a great
These are
jump.
all points of inspiration. Hopefully, hope everyone's able to learn from different experiences and different tribulations that everybody has, right?
And it mismatches. It's saying that two of these brothers are twins, and the stuff in the profile currently and stuff says they were born on different years. So there's a little conflict there. So yeah. And yet we can't find birth records either. So
Sounds fun.
yeah, I know it's a challenge.
Well, shall we call it a night? I think we're all going to be, well, some of us will be back online in less than 11 hours.
Yeah. So this will be my first connect-a-thon or whatever the newt.
So if you can tune into YouTube tomorrow morning at
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Eastern time. And if you're a newt, you got a message from me today with the YouTube link. And it's fun. We're not going to stay on too long. It's just sort of you know, everybody's all excited and, you know, boom, off we go, sort of.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Of course, for the West Coast, that's pretty early.
I know, I know. So you can catch it on the replay. So,
Okay, right.
yeah. Yes,
Karen.
See, does that link that you sent, is that good for all of the YouTubes or just the one at
No.
8 o'clock?
No, there's a different link to each live cast. So the best thing is to subscribe to WikiTree on
Let me just find it.
and then you will see all the videos that are upcoming.
Oh,
Yeah, there's one every 4 hours during the thons.
Wait, there is going to be a page. I mean, the
Oh,
Connectathon
yeah.
page should have
Yeah.
all of them, right?
Yeah, there is one already.
Let me see if I can find Help Connectathon. It's one of our biggest events.
Yeah.
And schedule, video chat schedule for those who want to watch.
Mhm.
Challenge Hangouts. Yep, I'm going to link Challenge Hangouts into the chat right now. So there are your links.
Yeah.
That should be visible to everybody, right?
uh-huh.
And
Not a
this
private page.
can be taped anyway, so.
And you can highlight over the people who are on there so you can see their profiles.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see who's scheduled to be up there. I am not going to be involved, so don't be looking for me this time.
Oh,
But I will be available in, I think, July, the next one.
Next one is, yes, July. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be around for the July one. I don't have any conflicts this time for that.
Well, thank you all for coming. I'm looking forward to spending time with some of you over throughout the weekend. And happy WikiTreeing, happy connecting.
Thanks, y'all.